age after hearing so many conversations about her peers delaying the need to save and set financial goals while in their mid 20s. Since inception in 2019, the Financial Academy has facilitated conferences, seminars, summer camps, and workshops for children, teens, and young adults locally and internationally in countries within the Caribbean, Europe, Latin America, and North America. I had to take the opportunity to share their bios. I asked for a brief one, but we're going to talk about that another day. But I had to share their bio simply because I want you to know that we ain't half stepping around here. We have qualified people to come in to talk to us about having to save and having to budget what is necessary so that we can ensure that our families are well taken care of. So I want to welcome you ladies to the show, your Lane Talk Show. Thank you for being a part of us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Hey, my girl, you back. All right,
Yes.
thank you. Yes, I'm hearing a little echo here. Yeah. Do I need this? Okay. So, ladies, I mean, I have so many questions, and I already see that this is going to be part two.
Oh, still can't hear. I don't know if anyone else is on Facebook, but I have Facebook open and I can't hear on my laptop either on Facebook.
Is the radio on?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Praise the Lord. All right, so welcome back, everyone. We were having some technical difficulties a while ago. Please bear with us. Please be patient with us. So as we, excellent, thank you.
Okay.
As we prepare the show, because we're excited because there are a lot of people who need to know what to do and how to get themselves out of debt. And of course, we have these three wonderful ladies here. Oh, okay. So for those who are tuning in, can you go to Star 106 FM then? Let's do that then. Because I don't know what else to do. Let me see if I can get Star FM up and running and going from this end because you are unable to hear me from your lane. So for now, because maybe things will change by then. Let's move on. All right. So you said the snowball effect, and in order for us to actually what? Okay, good. You could hear us. Good. All right. Y'all, please bear with us today. Anyway, y'all pray. Um, what are some practical budgeting tips specifically for mothers who are managing household expenses on a tight budget? Because let's just get straight to it because we're losing a lot of time. So let's talk about budgeting tips and ways that mothers can save. Who wants to start first? We haven't heard from Lashonda. Are we able to get Lashonda?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. So Lashonda, I know we were talking about handling debt and everything, right? But of course we moved on to that particular off from that particular question. So we want to ask about budgeting tips specifically for mothers who are managing household expenses and those who are on a tight budget. What are some of the recommendations that you can give?
Mike, for me personally, my Achilles heel with money management sometimes can be access with online shopping. So, one of the things that I do personally is that I leave only the money that's to pay bills, like in the account. So that's what's there to pay, and I utilize a handy dandy budget binder that has categorized envelopes. So what I do is every single paycheck I take, and this is just a budget sheet here, but I'll pull up a blank one. I take a budget sheet and it allows you to put down the date of every bill that's due for that between the pay period, the description, the amount. So you understand how what's coming in it goes up against what has to come out. And from there, in using that, I know, okay, I need to pay XYZ bills online. But then there are things that have to come up later. Things that are coming up later are my car registration. They're not now. I may not be able to put the whole thing aside now. But one thing I'll do is pull out my budget binder and I'll make a deposit into my envelope. I make a note of how much money I need for my car registration, and I start to say, okay, if the registration is due in August and it's January, how much money do I need to chip away every pay period so that when August comes, I don't feel that and I don't have necessarily feel that lack, and I don't have to go scrounging to figure out the money for my car registration. That's just school. Even for I have a envelope even for my kids' clothes. They change sizes, which means that suddenly none of their clothes fit, none of their shoes fit, and they need brand new clothes. Now, am I always going to go buy brand new clothes? The answer is no. Where I live, there is a children's thrift store that allows me to trade in gently used clothes for store credit or for cash. So my kids' clothes that are not, their usual everyday school wear that's busted, I take those in. I oftentimes come out of it with $120, and that allows me to go ahead and look through the aisle. I pick up anything with tags on it, and they have everything from Ralph Lauren, Nautica, all of the brands, Target's brand, Cat and Jack, all the stuff. So that allows me to make an exchange that's not too expensive. Of course, things like underwear, night items, swimwear, those have to be purchased brand new just for sanitation purposes and hygiene. But for children who are growing every single 6 months, you just need to operate where you operate. A cute outfit or like a special occasion outfit is what I wanted to say. Special occasion outfit once in a while, brand new off the rack. great. But if you're on a tight budget, operate within your thrift stores. Utilize an envelope system that you know what big expenses are coming. You know there's back to school. You know you got to pay car registration once a year. You know those once a year fees that they're a lot of money, but they're only once a year. So start to chip away at those at the beginning of the year, every pay period. And even if you're only able, always practice saving. Even if you're only able to save $5 every pay period, that money counts, because $5 every pay period for a full year gets you somewhere that you would not have been if you didn't put that into practice. That money always counts. My husband and I did a $5 savings challenge, and I think by the end of it, we had like $2,500 or something like that. That was money to buy plane tickets to Paris for us. So it really, you can really you think it's small, but that small thing becomes big when you do it consistently. So consistently exercise that savings muscle, $5, $2 every paycheck. Put it aside. If you're like me and online shopping is your issue, I pull the money out. Whatever is left, every dollar has an assignment. No dollar is not told where to go. I pull the money out and I have my budget binder in my home. Of course, I don't, there's no one else here except my household family whom I trust. I keep cash around. But my budget binder has the money for vacation, girls' trips, dreams, things I want to try. Getting my hair done whenever that has a chance to happen. Whatever I want to do for myself on Mother's Day, I will start to save and chip away slowly. And in the event that you have a major emergency, God forbid, you now have a binder full of cash that you can pull instead of going into debt.
An emergency fund. And in fact, I'm gonna let you answer that briefly because I want to hear from the other two as well. How do you build emergency funds? You're muted, Shonda.
Thanks. The recommended amount is 3 to 6 months, and that's an emergency fund. So first of all, start at $1,000. Save your first $1,000, and then you have a number. What is 3 months of my bills? What is 6 months of my bills? And just slowly save toward that. Sometimes we go too hard. Oh, I'm going to save $500 every check, but you're cutting yourself out of things that really matter to you or really matter to your children, especially, in order to be able to say, oh, I have this emergency fund. But what you're going to do is you're going to end up finding yourself using your emergency fund out of turn and out of place. So slowly chip away. First of all, be aggressive about saving $1,000. Absolutely be very aggressive about that. After you save that $1,000, now you do the math. How much money do I need to save every single month or pay period to get to whatever 3 months of my bills total? And you say, okay, this I just do this like a Sue. Every pay period, pay yourself. You pay your tithes, you give into the poor, you pay the man his bill, the bill money, pay yourself as well. Pay your future self by putting away every single month.
fund should include the least about 3 months worth of the basic expenses. That would be utilities,
Mm-hmm.
grocery,
Mm-hmm.
money for transportation, whether that's gas or catch the bus,
Mm-hmm.
taxi, or wherever you get around,
Mm-hmm.
school fees for the children.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things would be in your emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
And so you now have to take note of what's important in order to have that amount of money set aside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second thing that I advise is that you take a look at how your salary is looking. How much money do you have left over to even put something aside? Um, and based on that figure, you now go ahead and decide, okay, I think I can maybe put $25, $30 aside a week. You have to be realistic with
Yeah,
this.
of course.
And so you build toward $500, $700. And after that, if you're able to put more, then you put more money. Now, there's also a difference between minimum wage and being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And with that,
Mm-hmm.
some days you don't make money.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that, especially if your business is seasonal,
Yeah.
now that changes the game,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have a family.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take advantage of those peak seasons in your business and use that to allocate as much money as you can toward your expenses, your emergency fund, and your savings. All of these things you have to be mindful of. And so when there are those low periods, you're able to pull from your emergency fund because you would have prepared yourself
Mm-hmm.
for the drought, so to speak.
I love that because where I work, we have sales agents that go through peak seasons as well.
Right.
Right after Christmas is a lull.
It
So in most businesses, January, February, you don't hear, don't see, don't listen, don't ask me for nothing. I don't have nothing, though. You know what I mean? Because you've already allocated most of your expenses, paid off your stuff, and purchase gifts and all this other stuff in the month of December.
Yeah.
And then you have just before September, for those who do radio advertising or any form of advertising over here, in the summer you won't get that much people advertising for anything until unless it's something like an air conditioning place or something. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
The
food,
needs.
the
Right?
needs.
Yeah.
But other than that, you'd hear businesses say, oh well, things aren't picking up right now as they should, and XYZ. So in those cases, how should you plan then? So everyone who's in the business of commissions, etc. Even hotelians, right? They'll tell you their seasons.
Right.
So how should you budget then, from knowing in advance that in the next 2 months there's going to be a lull? So is there a percentage from what you're making in those high peak seasons that you should put aside? How do you determine that?
So actually, what you would do is you would budget according to the lowest amount of money you expect to make, the lowest amount, because that keeps it on an even playing field. Because
Mhm.
if you're able to make more, then you're
Mhm.
able to put more
Mhm.
toward an expense or your emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to that, that's how you would kind of create your budget or plan for what you
Planning
may
ahead.
or may not see coming
Mm-hmm.
ahead of you. Another thing is even going back to just being realistic. There may be some periods where you are cut back on days where you're working. And so in that instance, sometimes you need a backup plan. Sometimes you need a backup plan. And so when you're talking about a backup plan, you may have a group of friends who want to start this business idea, or you join in with somebody,
Mhm.
invest in their business. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a bunch of money. A business
Yeah.
does not take a lot of money to
Right.
start, depending on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing something as simple as that, you're able to now bring in an additional source of income that can go towards an expense.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you don't have it at the time, you're able to pull from that and you put it back when you get it. So it's not only about using what you're getting from your main income source, but it's also about having additional sources of income at the same time. And that is something that has helped me
Right.
over the last 4 years.
Right.
So that's also very important.
I love that. I love that. So you have to come up with something though, and then you have to find, because you just can't pop up and just have any and everybody to try to do business with, right? So you want to make sure that you have suitable people who are mature. Look at their track record to see how they deal with their expenses. Look at their values. Look at their morals. Look at their standards. Some people might call this charismatic or whatever have you, but look to see if they are givers.
Yes.
Look to see, that's important.
It
Look
is.
to see if they give alms, if they tithe, if they do this and they do that, because that will determine whether or not y'all may think I'm crazy, but that's just me. if you would be successful in your business or you won't.
That is true. I left my job in 2021. I was a junior accountant,
Mm-hmm.
working at a wealth management firm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I wasn't working for about a year and a half, and I still tithe as if I was getting a
Yeah.
salary every month.
Yeah.
And when I
Never
tell
lie.
you the never,
I know.
never, and like you said, it may sound silly, but that was my commitment,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what
Kept you.
God multiplied for me.
Yeah.
Not only during that moment, but even still now
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some days you don't know how or where, but it comes.
Yes. Lashonda, what are your thoughts on what was said just now? She spoke about using other ways of income to help um with I guess what financial debt and seasons of lull where you know that you're not gonna get a particular amount during a particular time. Um, are you I don't know if this is I don't want to get all up in your business, but are you um in that I guess moment of what Garnett is, because I know she said she is, and Lakeisha is, where you're using other incomes to help bring in something for your home?
So I have a two income household, thankfully. And the difference for me with where I'm at now in life, transitioning from a stay at home mom, managing the household finances to now working, um, is that I can manage, but with my job, the way that I get extra money with my regular job is just by earning my usual quarterly bonus. And that allows me to have an additional four figures to put toward vacation fund, children's needs, or whatever. However, yes, I do believe that you absolutely need to find other ways to earn more money. The reality just is that the paycheck is just never enough for
Mhm.
most people. So you need to find more money, especially if you have debt, because all of your money doesn't belong to you if you have debt. And when you're talking about kids who are always growing, they have activities, they have needs, and you don't want them to have a life of no. And as someone who grew up for a time in poverty, poverty is very traumatic. It's
Yeah.
very traumatic. It's too many no's. You really learn the wrong way, in the wrong ways, how to be small. Um, and you start to shut yourself off from dreaming. And
Yeah.
so, even for me as a mom, that means that for in certain seasons of my life, I'm going out to be a wedding coordinator, even though I never was one before. I'm going to, I did day of wedding coordinating. I only did it on for Saturday weddings or a Sunday wedding. That was a weekend that worked with my family schedule. It was up to me. But in that type of in that type of system, the contract was $1,000 a wedding. So I'm coordinating your wedding for you, and I'm not the planner. Let me just say, like, a coordinator is not
Mhm.
a planner. So you're not doing all the decorating, all the stuff. You're just making sure everyone's in their place and everybody gets to the aisle on time to walk down. The DJ is there, the cake is cut on time. You're running the program basically without being the MC.
Mhm.
And that you can create your own price for something like that, based on where you're located. That's $1,000 a wedding contract for me. Of course, I have to pay taxes, so I have to put the IRS's money aside. From out of that. But that allows me, whenever I'm feeling like, okay, I want to do XYZ, or hey, birthday parties are coming up. I don't want to necessarily pull on a budget too much or get too much out of plan, or even if I want a special treat for myself, I am going to just say, okay, well, I'll go ahead and get an extra job, or I'll go to that closet. What haven't I worn in 6 months? What doesn't fit anymore? And I will sell those to Plato's Closet. I will sell those on Poshmark. I will sell them on eBay. And they most times always sell. So that allows me to purge my closet. It allows me to get some extra income when my husband's birthday is coming up, or I want a gift for him. Okay, you need to get out there and coordinate a wedding. Okay,
Mhm.
and I do have a business, Revive Faith Company. So that's always going and flowing. Right now, in the face of that business, is just putting the resources back in, because it is a product based business. So you always have to, put that money back in. But in terms of looking for other ways to make money, I think that we have to. You don't have a choice. if you want to have an emergency fund, if you want to have the freedom to have a vacation, even if that's just to the family islands or just a staycation to relax your mind, if you want to be able to afford therapy, if you want to be able to afford great health insurance, it's not an option of not finding other ways to make some money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Garnett, maybe you could help us with this for people who may not know what to do. How can a mother find ways to make more money
Oh,
legally?
yes, legally.
Right.
So what I usually tell persons is sit down and write a list of things that you're really into, things that you like. Because in all honesty, some persons might like to bake, but some persons might not like dealing with the public. Some
Yeah.
persons might be skilled in writing essays or creating spreadsheets for some
Mhm.
persons.
Mhm.
Some persons might be good in dog walking. And I guess some you have to look at your skill and see what it is that you like to do and look at what it is that you can do.
Mhm.
And then you decide from there. It takes a lot of sacrifice, because many nights you'll be up tired because you have to now invest your time into your side hustle
Mhm.
or your side business to be able to make the money because the one salary isn't enough, especially if you're a single mom.
Yeah.
So like for me, I bake on the side, and that is my passion because I would have inherited that from both of my grandmothers who were
Mhm.
bakers. So I work full time.
Mhm.
I work for the Bahamas government full time.
Mhm.
So that's 8 hours. When I get off, the most I have, like sometime all I could do is jump in the shower, put on my shoes, and go in the kitchen to bake.
Yeah.
That's something that I like to do. And then, of course, with the budget, and I sell budget planners.
Mhm.
So you have persons calling, hey, I need a plan. So for me, I always tell people stick to what works for you.
Yeah.
Do not look at what works for Karen. Do not look at what works for Maxine. Look at what's your habits, what is your talents, and that's how you find a way to make money. Miles Monroe, the late Miles Monroe, always he had a sermon that he preached, and he said about this lady who was working at a hotel. She got laid off, and
Mhm.
she came to his office crying. And he's like, okay, well, I remember you used to bake cookies for me. I like your cookies.
Yeah.
And he said something that always stuck in my head. You have an oven in your house. You only use the oven on Sunday.
Yeah.
So for 6 days, that oven is sitting there doing nothing. And so if we sit and we look at what's around, I love the video Azara, what is in your hand,
Yeah.
what is in your house. And whether we believe it or not, we have everything we need in our hands and in our house in order to make us financially independent. We just have to really take the time to analyze what it is that we have in order to get in connection or get in tune with God, and we will see the doors will open because we will start walking into what it is that we have in us to help us to be financially independent.
I love that. I love that. What is in your hand? So I mean that actually stood out to me, because you do have some people who say, well, I want to do something. I need more money, but what can you do? What can you do? Can you plait hair? Can you do makeup? Can you sing? Use those same qualities or characteristics that you may have, that the skills that you may have, and make money out of it.
I started with budget planners. Back when I was living in Abaco, I started selling. No, sorry, not budget planners. The planners. They used to be in Ross and Home Goods,
Mhm.
little journals. I started selling
Yeah.
journals when I
Yeah.
went away. Instead of wasting money, you know how we go crazy. I said, okay,
Yes.
let me put $200 aside to buy some
Those
journals.
journals.
I
Yeah.
started with selling journals. I
Hmm.
started making money from journals, and I started selling fashion jewelry. With so much other things that I got into
Right.
until I found what my niche was, that I knew that okay, this
Would
is
work for
it. That
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, like I tell persons, if you like taking pictures, start taking photos. It's so much different. If you like flowers, learn. YouTube University has
Hmm.
everything on it.
Everything.
You could learn how to put flowers together, nice creations, and you sell them.
Yeah.
Or if you have teens in your house, one time teens was a little tough. I had routers in the box. I had all kinds of stuff. I put it on Facebook for sale.
And
And
tell them.
person exactly.
Hmm.
We have this thing as behemoths, we be so attached to material stuff. We
Yeah.
have to learn how to disconnect from stuff.
Let it
If
go.
you have something in your closet you didn't wear for the past year, or
Hmm.
something you didn't use for the past year, man, get rid of it, sell
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And by doing that, then it gives you money to invest in the little business that you want to start.
Hmm.
And then you just go from there.
Now, this is a little off, but I really wanted to ask this question because somebody who saw our flyer said that she wanted to get in contact with you, Lakeisha, and I guess I can ask this question now because of what you do. And but I want to know. So I'm gonna. How can mothers teach their children about money management and instill good financial habits from a young age?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Well, parents, mothers, can teach their children. Well, they can only teach their children if they know how to,
Right.
right? So you have to learn how to set that particular example for your child.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to tell parents one of the best ways to teach a child about budgeting is by carrying them in the food store with you
Mm-hmm.
and letting them know how much money you have to spend. Let them write down every time you pass an item or you take an item off the shelf. Let them write it down or put it in their calculator.
Hold
And
on,
they,
stop, pause. Let
yeah.
me just make sure my husband watching this because I have a video right now with him in the food store today when he went in today, and the children just picking out whatever they want inside. When I'm in there with them, they are strict. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't nothing. So I would let them see. I do let them come with me. No, I don't let them know the cost of anything, but they get whatever. But when they were there, daddy, everything comes out the shelf, off the shelf. So pull up, rewind. Let's do this again. So you come in there with a budget
You come in
because I
there
gave
with,
him a
you
list.
come in there with a budget.
Yes.
And you would say, okay, this is what I have today. Let's start off 100 basic number.
Right.
Right? We have $100 today. Every time you take something off the shelf and you put it in that trolley or that basket, they put that in the calculator.
Right.
And so
Oh,
they
I love
just
that.
adding.
Yes.
When they reach very close to 100, they know that's it.
Shut it off.
Ain't nothing else.
Yes.
What
I
else?
love that. Look at this. I
So
learned something.
they are able to see, to understand the cost of living.
Yes.
And because it's not enough to tell children, they don't understand it when you're
Mhm.
talking to them,
Mhm.
but you have to illustrate it.
Mhm.
And so that's the best way to show
do it.
them about budgeting.
Mhm.
Now, let's say, for example, you may want to start giving them an allowance just so they can see how much things cost when it's now their turn to go
Yeah.
in the shop and they want something.
Mhm.
If they only have $5, they can't spend more than $5.
Right.
Because that's their rule. You have $5, what are you going to buy?
Yes.
So that helps them to be strict with their budget. Also, it helps them to save.
Yeah.
Because if they now know that I want something that costs $10, I need to make an extra five, but I can't spend the five that I already have.
Right.
And so now you're teaching all of these lessons in one, and now they understand the value of money. So that's the easiest way to teach children about the value of money.
So I think this for me, I feel so bad because I understand what my children got this from. So my mom instilled I guess a little bit of financial prudence with me as well, in that she purchased a piggy bank for me. And whenever I get whatever funds that she will give to me or my dad, I will put it in the bank. Now, I grew up in Pinewood. And if it's one thing Pinewood know how to do is to have ice cream trucks around there. All right. So every time I had a whatever, I would go. Now she had the bank that was it's sealed, so I can't like open it. But I found a way to do it. Smart me had a knife, and I would like try to push it in the hole where the money's going and pull it down. So by doing that, the funds will just slide out. And so instead of me saving, I'm going to go buy ice cream. So I let in the blue. Everyone who live in South Beach or Pinewood, there's a blue bus that used to just round in the 90s, the early 90s, just traveling. He got rich off of me. All right. So now, and I say this simply because now I'm noticing, because the tuck shop lady from their school is telling me that one of my daughters is coming to school with coins. So I'm saying, where's she getting coins? I pay you for her lunch. We have to pay in advance. So she gets lunch. So where you going with these coins? So, and I realized, because I had her piggy bank in her room. So she's doing the same thing I used to do.
Yeah.
Now I can't row her out because I did the same thing. Hence our last week's episode of generational mothering and parenting, etc. So the same thing that I did, she's now doing. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to take the piggy bank out of your room and I'm going to put it in my room. So whenever, the only time you touch your piggy bank is when you put something in there. So helping children to learn, hey, we're saving this because, or let's do something where the person who makes the most money in coins or dollars, whatever have you get, I'll double it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
doing for
you,
my kids now.
yeah, so you have
So
challenges
exactly. So
as
I'm
they
doing
come.
challenges.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Garnett? I don't know if you've done this with your two kids. Were there any challenges or anything that you made fun or excited for your children?
So for my kids, I put them to work
Oh, gee.
because my parents put me to work.
Mm-hmm.
So every summer we used to go to the States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disney World and stuff. But my father paid for everything. But he always said that of course we knew he would still give us an envelope with money. And that's one of the reasons I always went to the budget the envelope system because that was something was instilled with us when we was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew that when we go away, he would give us an envelope with our monies in it. But he always said to us, "You have to work during the summer for your spending money."
Yeah.
So we iron, we wash and we iron our uncle's clothes, we
Mm-hmm.
weed the yard, we did stuff like that. So like with me with my business, my daughter, she's 14.
Yeah.
She works. She helps me with my cookie dough. She helps me with my icing, and I give her a salary at the end of every week. Now for her, what she does is again she likes to go away, so whenever she get American money, even if it's $1, she put that aside.
I love
And
that.
yeah, so she knows that okay, a trip coming up, even if it don't come up this year, it could come up
At some
at
point.
some point.
Yes.
I have my
Oh,
American
she's
money.
smart.
And so if I give her a salary, I mean it's child labor. I mean I don't pay
Listen,
I don't pay her
come
what
on,
she should
that's
get,
right.
right? But I'll give her and she know, okay, well, mommy gave me this money. I could decide whether, and which is so amazing with her is she has no problem with carrying lunch to school.
Right.
She knows that she has things that she want to do, and in order to do that, she has to save her money, even though me and her father will pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
At least she know that, hey, I have to save my money towards this that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Point in case she wanted braces. We got her braces. But before we put the braces in them, I said, well, the braces is $260 a month. We done paying private school fee.
Mm-hmm.
We done have you in swimming. We done all
All
these
these
stuff.
different things.
You could pay for these braces yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had in her mind that of course we're still paying for it,
Right.
but she's putting the money aside in the
Towards it.
event that she need one day
Yeah.
to pay. So I feel like sometimes us as parents we need to just have that conversation with the children. We feel like our children are not smart enough, but in actuality they're very intelligent
Very.
because this is a modern day time that we're living and
Yeah.
social media is everywhere. They have access to stuff, so they're seeing and they're understanding. So sit down and have a conversation with the child and say, hey, this is my plan for you. So when I give you this dollar, when I give you this $10, it is my hope that you do X, Y, and Z. And
With
you will
them.
see that they
Mm-hmm.
start saving their money. They start understanding that, okay, well, of course, they still take the little dollar out because we're adults. Me, even though I have money aside,
Yeah.
I still just take one little dollar or two
Once
dollars
in a
out if
while
I
to
want
treat
something.
yourself.
Treat yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
So just have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
And once you have that conversation, trust me, they'll be on the same page with you.
Shonda, real quick, because we want to take a break, but I want her to answer this. Shonda, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 children under
Three
8.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Under what age?
8.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, by then, I'm sure that at least the 8-year-old is able to understand financial prudence and planning, and in some way or some capacity. Are you teaching them anything as well in regarding budgeting and plan and saving?
Yeah, we do. We talk about our grocery bill, the snacks and things that they want. We let them know, okay, this is the budget, and everyone can get XYZ based on the budget. Even down to my 3-year-old, I'll be like, what would you like? And we'll look and see how that fits into that. Sometimes you let them pay for the grocery because for us, paying groceries with cash has a little bit more self-control, even for us.
Right.
So if we take cash, that means we're not buying all the snacks in the world because we need to stay on track ourselves. Like, well, sometimes we be like, the kids want, but no, you need to stop buying all them expensive snacks. They ain't good for you, and it's not good for your bank account.
Come on.
But so we have that system, but also even with toys, our kids know you want new stuff. What haven't you played with? Those need to be packed up and those can be sold or they can be given away if they're still in good condition to a less fortunate child.
Right.
Any type of new clothes or clothes that we bought it because we liked it, but you don't really like it, so you don't want to wear it. We pack those up and we teach them stewardship and management a lot through giving. So we
Wow.
sit down as a family when we give to, for example, the Low Country Orphan Relief. We sit
Nice.
down as a family and we pray and we bless the offering and we do that. We give that donation. They pack up some of their toys, pack up their clothes, and we give those items where they're needed. We talk to them about that. Um, But also, like, for example, they want printer paper and stuff like that. I charge 10 cents for printer paper. If you want me to go my printer and give you some of my paper, I charge 10 cents. So they will, when their godparents come over, they get the godparents a lot because their godmom, they're like, we want new Crocs, we want this. She gives them whatever they want. That's perfectly fine.
Right.
But they know over here, oh, you want printer paper? It's 10 cents, please, and thank you. You want an extra snack off of the additional snacks that you already had is 25 cents. And so
I never
they
thought of.
have their money. So they put, my daughter has her money in her room and she's 5. My son is 7. He has his money in his room. And he'll be like, oh, do you have it? Do you have $20? Yeah. Okay. Is this what you really want to spend your $20 on? So we allow them to keep their money. I think one of the mistakes that was made with me growing up in terms of learning how to budget is that every time
Right.
I just had to give it to my parent, to my guardian, and they would put it in the bank, which was fine, but I didn't learn anything from that because you didn't allow me to handle my own money. So yeah, it was there for later. And I appreciate all that, but I didn't learn anything about budgeting. I didn't learn how to control my emotions with regard to spending. I didn't learn how to tell myself no because I just gave you the money directly anytime anybody like gave me birthday money or anything like that. So we allow our children, even at this young age, to handle money, but we also teach them the importance of giving. And yes, I do charge for extra snacks and printer paper.
Listen to me. Someone says tuck shop at home. I am
Yes.
trying that. I have y'all
Yeah,
to
I like
know.
that
If
idea.
y'all want me, knock on my door. I come to the shop.
That's it.
That's if you want to purchase anything
Yes.
outside of what I've
What
already
you're,
given you.
yes.
Because
Yes.
That's a
what
good
happens
idea.
is when my kids
Mm-hmm.
they will have their snacks. I put 3 snacks in their bag along with what they get at lunch at school. All right. I don't give them juice simply because I just, well, for one, I like ensure that they have water and juice. I think is just another expense that to me, I don't think I need.
You
Yes.
need
All
water.
right. So if they do have juice, they'll have apple juice or orange juice in the morning for breakfast at home. So when they come home from school, they may want to get another snack. So now I know if you want a snack, you need to pay me for that additional snack. So I'll be doing that, LaShonda. Thank you so much for that advice. We're
Of
going to take a
course.
quick break. I am so glad that our technical team is working and doing something and ensuring that people get to see our other guests. Finally, thank you, Jesus. God bless you all. Let's take a quick break. Listen, y'all working hard in the back there, boy. I can see y'all sweating. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so I think we are doing really good with time. There's so many other questions that I want to share. We started off late, y'all. Facebook audience. We started off late simply because um, we have been having technical difficulties from the time we came here, but we're gonna ensure that we still push through and get through throughout the show. So ladies, we're gonna talk about everyday expenses and how we can save money from there. Um, Garnett spoke about super value stamps.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk a little bit about those things, coupons, saving coupons. I don't know, but y'all, but back in the days, people used to be embarrassed about stamps. And now, like with me, honestly, I was one of them. Like I used to like the stamps, but I never used to want to have to be the one
See you
see
using it.
me using the
Yeah.
stamp. Now, honey, what? How much I have? $50? What?
Okay.
What? Listen, don't throw that stamp away. I'm like the stamp. Count it again. Now
Yeah.
make sure. Now sometimes they stick together, so make sure that ain't just that's two. Okay. All right. So now I'm at a point where stamps are very much valuable
I
to
can
me.
tell you.
This is Star 106.5 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. You're listening
Y'all
to
showing off?
Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna.
Y'all hear how the music even get louder and stuff? We sound clearer now. I don't know where y'all been for the past half hour. But anyway, thanks for helping. All right. So we're talking about saving using coupons and stamps and all these other things. I know Shonda's not here, but I'm most certain that she have. I don't know if y'all still collect, like, the newspapers would have, the American Times or whatever would have stamps and
Yes.
coupons inside.
Extreme couponing
Then
is a
you have,
thing.
for me personally, I would wait until certain seasons. I will wait until certain seasons and times to do my shopping. For instance, if there is something like Thanksgiving holidays, especially for the states, and Labor Day, and all those other things, that I will wait until the states have something like that where they have sales, and then I'll go ahead and purchase the items. I'll wait. Now, for us over here, in the Bahamas, we don't really get that much sales. All right, it's very, very, very rare that we get that much sales. So how can we save? How can we, other than the quality stamps, is there anything else that we can do? Who wants to go first?
Um, I I found late as of late, John Che.
Okay,
Apparently on Thursdays their special comes out also, just like
come tell
how
us,
the
child.
food store
Mm-hmm.
special. Yeah, I someone recommended it to me on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
because I usually do videos of me going into Super Value on Thursdays
Right.
shopping the specials, and it was like, hey, try out John Jay. And
Yeah.
I could say that the fruits and vegetables, the quality, first of all, is better,
Now,
and the
which location? Because
prices.
all them
There's
ain't
no
don't.
the one by St.
Okay,
Barnabas.
that's Wolf Road. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay. All
listen
right.
to me.
All right.
To the
Shout
point
out to
now.
Sydney Shea. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and listen, well, what I did was I found a lady who actually goes there now and buy the stuff for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like the traffic and the lines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, once the special comes out, I have this lady, and she only charges me 25 to $30 to go in, shop for the items based on what I picked out from the special,
Mm-hmm.
and bring them to my home. I believe in outsourcing what I could outsource,
Do what you
because
gotta
if
do.
I have to waste an hour or an hour and a half just trying to get there, look for parking, and shop and hustle and bustle in the store,
Mm-hmm.
let me just pay someone to do it. And
One
so
time.
that's what I've been doing lately as it relates to my fruits and vegetables. Well, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Super Value is the only next big supplier of groceries here. So for me, I shop the special, and with the stamps, I don't spend my stamps during the year. I
You wait
save
till
my
Christmas.
stamps. I save my stamps till Christmas. Here's
Hey.
one of the reason why I work for, like I said, the Bahamas government, and
Right.
all of you who work for government know once we get paid that second week in December, it is rough until the end of January.
Yeah.
So I use the stamps that I save all year round to go to the food store like about that week before Christmas, and I get everything.
Mm-hmm.
I purchase
Me
everything
too.
that I need, and then that hold me over until the payday in January.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. Like I said before, back in the days, I used to be a little shame with my stamps. I used to wait. You could go in front of me. It's okay. Go ahead. That time, I late for wherever it is I need to go to because I don't want nobody to say now. I'm so proud of my stamps.
Mhm.
I am the stamp gremlin. Like
Yeah.
if my children, if you holding the stamps while we coming out the food, so hold that like you holding your life, sweet girl, because I need to hurry up, put it in my plastic bag and keep on the side till Christmas. And so let's talk about Lakeisha, let's talk about ways that we can actually save using stamps and finding outsourced, places that have sales, etc. How can mommies work on those regarding those things?
Right. So it's all about paying attention, right?
Right.
And
You gotta pay
not
attention.
feeling a certain way.
Right.
Everybody is on a mission to save as much
Save.
money as they can.
Yes.
So you need to do what you need to do.
Mm.
Something I'm not, well, when I get the stamps, I give them to my mom. So she uses them at Super Value.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the big shopper in the family,
Mm-hmm.
but I like a good loyalty.
Mhm.
So wherever I can get the loyalty card from, sign up for membership, I take advantage of that as well. And I don't work for Bahamas Dining Reward apps, but that saved me plenty days.
That's all Van opposite me too. Okay.
It just saved me the day before I came here.
Yes.
I was able to swipe. I didn't spend anything out of my wallet.
Hold on. So
And
with this,
I
and then
got
we talk
something
about
to
that. So
eat.
now,
I was able to get something
for
to eat
true.
before I came here.
That I thought that was
Good
finished and done
points.
with. That that
No,
No.
no. What happened is one of the participating businesses
Right.
is no longer using it. But
Okay.
they still have the other four.
okay. I
on
need to
there.
get in that.
I
You remember
definitely
that?
need to look.
So
No,
No.
that is
I know when, like you said, I know KFC was using
KFC,
it.
Right,
My
and
kids
then
was
they
using
don't
it
do
with
that anymore.
KFC, and I figured it wasn't.
Right.
Dropped off.
Oh,
They dropped
okay.
it off. It's not
I
already.
definitely
But
could
it's
mention
some
that to my
announcement there.
daughter.
But what happened is every time you purchase something, you earn your points.
Right.
And then you add up to a certain number. And so at some point you're able to redeem. And so, like I say, I use that to get something.
You won't pay no money
loyalty.
today. You
You
won't pay nothing.
That what I had my $12 on that. I spent the $5 and that was me.
That
I
was
was
you.
just driving
So
here.
that's good.
Because that's $5 that I now get to keep in my wallet.
Yes.
And I can put that in my bank account. It
Mhm.
sounds like a little bit, but it adds up.
It adds up.
And so that's one way. Another thing, like I mentioned, like loyalty, like Fresh Market, Cost Right.
Yes.
Like these different places have their loyalty programs.
Yeah.
So always
They-
swipe always swipe your card when you
Yes.
go out. And I know Rubus, when they had first came out with that swiping thing, I probably got about $50 gas off of Rubus. Because if you go at a certain time on Tuesday
Mhm.
morning 7:15, I was on Soldier Road at
I
Rubus,
didn't know
and
that.
I swipe my thing and I get my points. The receipt come out
Yeah.
$5, $5, $5.
Hold on, let me write
So
that
So
no, no,
down.
no. Say write this
Repeat that
down.
so
No,
again.
say it again. Say it
so
again because
Rubus,
we
I
need to
don't know
know
if
this.
they still do it, but I know
Right.
back then they had like everybody had something on their key. So it's like
Right.
I signed up for it. And so every time I get gas, I
Yes.
just swipe it at the pump,
Yes.
and I got the $5 coupon. So I knew which day and what time I had to be at that station to get my $5 on my receipt. And so I added them up, and I that helps.
Look at that.
So you just have to
Mhm.
be listening, pay attention to these things. So
They 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 stopped it.
Yeah, I don't think they still have it. And they have
No,
new
they haven't been
machines
asking
now
me
too. They have
either.
new machines.
Right.
But I know that used to be like a big saver for me.
But we
You know,
Okay.
still
it's
could
fifty
check
dollars.
into that.
It's fifty
Yeah, we
dollars.
still could look into
So
it.
so hold on. Let me just read some of these comments. Well, Sean the child, yeah, people saying you glowing, honey. I don't know what that mean. I ain't gonna say nothing because ain't nobody coming from me, but I have an idea what that glowing is. But that's just my idea. I'm just saying, right? Right? Cause yeah. And someone asked the question, do stores still have meat packages in Nassau? I don't know, Garnett will be able to answer that.
Yeah, they still do. You could get
Yeah.
meat package at Budget, Courtesy, the local food stores. Now, for me and my family, we stick to chicken breast.
Right.
Reason being is healthier,
Yeah.
and Super Value has this 10 pound. It's a 10 pound or 5 pound chicken breast for like about $13, and I find that that is easier because there's so
Super
much.
value meat so expensive
No,
though.
not certain. You have to go through
Certain
certain meat
places.
sections, and you will find that,
But
yeah.
this what the
But
show here for. This what the show
it's
for.
the
What
chicken
section?
breast. It's the
Where we
chicken
going?
breast.
Where we
So
going in
they
this
have
for?
they have this chicken breast that comes from Latin America,
Mm.
and I'll have to send you the photo, but it's like $10, $10 to $12, and it's like a 10 pound of chicken. So what
Wow.
I usually do is I'll buy, let's say, two of them. That one chicken that
Breast.
package of chicken breast could
Yeah.
feed my family for the week. So what I do is the day that I get it, I season that up.
Mhm.
Some days I grill it, some days I make chicken salad,
Yeah.
some days we fry it with to make a sandwich. So it's just, and I looked at it because when you look at health, see, it's no use saying, okay, you all about saving money if in saving money you are detrimental to
In the
your health.
hospital.
So exactly. So
Mhm.
you still have to be wise in
I love
cutting
that.
back.
I
And so
love
I
that.
find that chicken breast is the cheap to me in the long run is the cheapest and the healthiest.
I
So
love
meat
that.
packages, I don't usually buy them, but I do see that they still have meat packages, but with your pork chop, your turkey,
Yeah.
your ham, and all those other stuff.
You gotta go. Lashonda, now you ain't here, but I know that you're good at saving and budgeting as well. What are some of the things that you do where you're at?
I like to pull a coupon too. I like to go to now I am a Trader Joe's girl. Um I like to be a Trader Joe's. I like Publix, but I like Publix when it's everything is buy one get one free.
Mm.
And I like to shop at Aldi, which is a European grocery store here, but the prices are reduced because the packages have less air. Who knew that air would make stuff more expensive because that the airspace.
Okay.
But what I also do is I really tap into the coupon market. I enjoy I first of all I hype myself up by watching extreme couponers so I can
Mm-hmm.
give myself some gas to coupon. But when it comes to like my shower gels, deodorants, anything that's body care, not necessarily food, because there are not a lot of coupons on healthy food. But anything that's like body care, I will collect my coupons on those and go to whatever store. I also am a part of a Facebook group called Thrifty Babes, and they specialize in Amazon discounts. So, for example, if you follow me on social, you may see that I have on a new workout outfit every day. But I have on a new workout outfit, but a week's worth of workout outfits cost me $10 because I'm paying tuning in when Thrifty Babes is dropping a coupon code for 80% off.
Ooh.
Yes, of something on Amazon. So they're dropping for home items, they're dropping for clothing. And I'm like, okay, anything that my kids need, if it's sneakers, if it's sandals, I'm watching and you can search in there. There's so many different groups that just highlight coupons on Amazon.com, on
Yeah.
Walmart.com. CVS.com. So I love a Olay. I don't want to pay full price for any of that stuff. I'm going into my groups to look and see if there are any coupons. I'm going online. I'm going to Procter and Gamble, who makes all the stuff, their website to pull the coupons. I'm getting the Sunday paper, and I'm going to CVS or Walgreens to get my stuff. I remember my husband and I went to the store. He was like, "Why are we going?" I said, "Babe, just watch this magic." I went in
Mhm.
CVS and came out with a trolley full of tissue and paid like $5, all because I tuned in to a couponing group on Facebook about how to use coupons properly. I think it actually holds benefit for Bahamians who come over and buy their toiletries as well, because
Wow.
you're now able to come in and utilize coupons to get your suitcase full of stuff that you want to take home with regard to toiletries.
Hmm.
I'm not spending $10 on a body wash. I'm just not doing it. So I need a coupon at the store. Even when it comes to shopping at Sephora, I
Yeah.
pay attention to coupons. Sometimes because Sephora's in Kohl's right now, if I run out of my foundation or there's something that I need with regard to hair care,
Yeah.
because I get my hair stuff from there as well, I will look on Kohl's.com because sometimes Kohl's has the Sephora items at a discount that Sephora is not using. I use Tatcha skincare. Every
Hmm.
Tatcha product is like $50 to $100. I'm not paying that.
No.
So I'm going to be scouring for coupon codes for Tatcha. I'm going to be looking to see if Kohl's.com has Tatcha on sale. And so my entire skincare regimen, I'm getting 50 to 60% off, brand new, out the same store that would sell it.
Right.
So it's just a matter of paying attention, whether when you, especially if you're traveling, coming over, paying attention to those sales, and going to the right grocery stores. And like Talia mentioned, like just grocery grouping, like shopping your pantry as well. What's in there already? Like, don't let the food just sit there forever. What's in there already? Plan meals around what's in there.
That's
Would
it
you need
right
to?
there.
Maybe you need to add vegetables. Sometimes buying fresh vegetables doesn't work for everybody. If you have young children and they're not into all the different veggies, but you want to
Yeah.
incorporate more, frozen is cheaper. So
Mhm.
buy frozen instead of
Yeah.
fresh if you're going to cook them. Fruit. So I prefer now frozen fruit because I'm more on the smoothies. Even with
Right.
mangoes, here, unfortunately, the mangoes aren't always delicious. So I know that if I buy a bag of ripe frozen mangoes, I just leave a bowl of it on the counter and it gets to room temperature and it's perfectly yummy for me as a snack that's also healthy. So there's ways to navigate what you want, even down to body care. Bath and Body Works had
Yeah.
a $3 sale. If you want all the smell good lotion and perfumes, it was a $3 sale. You just buy all of them at that time. And you have the discipline and self-control to not buy anything else after that time. So that's really how I operate.
Yeah.
I move in coupons. So you can see a girl with all the perfumes and all the different things, but she definitely got it on clearance. Okay.
Okay. I love that. I love that because everybody, I don't know. Like I said, growing up, everyone is like so embarrassed because they're wearing, you know, perhaps not the name, the lesser brand, items, and you save in and you using a coupon, and people used to be embarrassed by that. Now it's like you see the rich people are using coupons, they're holding on to coupons, they're doing, so it has nothing. I think it's a mindset
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
What do you think on that?
I think so too, because even when you look at Shein is the latest thing now
Yeah.
as it relates to online shopping.
Hmm.
And you could go and you could get a nice dress on Shein for $10. And by the time you dress it up, no one will know that that's the $10
Hmm.
dress.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing as shoes. There's places now that you could go and you could get stuff at discounted price
Hmm.
because everybody worldwide realizing now, hey, you have to have money for a rainy day.
Yeah.
I think COVID did that for us.
Yes.
COVID made persons realize that, hey, you're not sure about tomorrow, and therefore you have to improvise now. You have to save, and you have to make sure that you able to generate funds to be able to carry on, not only for your generation but for your future generation.
I love that. Now let me pause right here to say this because Lord, if this person type anything else, I let me start from the first one I saw. Lakeisha is glowing. Okay, that's your first message. Then it goes to ask Lakeisha, how is she so financially beautiful? I had to put that there. I had to put that there. Tell Lakeisha D'Angelo say hi. Because I want to make sure he's known and you know who telling you these things. Tell Lakeisha her soon to be fiance
I
say
love it.
hi.
I love
Okay?
it.
Listen, if there's one person who can make sure you know he listening. That's D'Angelo for you. All right. So D'Angelo, thank you so much for tuning in, and you're definitely 100% fan.
Supporter, yes.
All right. So thank you for tuning in and listening to her. Listen, from then he would say, "I can't see Lakeisha. I can't see Lakeisha." That was actually his first post, and of course we do apologize for that, D'Angelo. We were having technical difficulties here. All right. So the next time he's smiling, the next time she comes on, I'm going to make sure that she has a camera for her from the beginning to the end. All right. So just before we wrap up, ladies, because there's so many other things to talk about, but clearly we have to do a part two. I want to talk about budgeting strategies because we didn't really fully get into that. So real quick, Lakeisha, we'll start with you. How can mothers budget? How can they go from, we know about every so often you put something on the side, but can we be more specific in strategy now with having to save money?
Right. So both ladies actually spoke about the cash envelope system earlier,
Right.
which is a great way to budget and set your money aside, help you to be disciplined. But before all of that, you have to know how much money you need to put toward each expense.
Right.
So before you can put something in an envelope, you need to know how much do I need to put in this
Right.
envelope. So when it comes to that, I like to recommend something that's called a zero-based budget,
Mhm.
which Shonda also spoke about. So giving everything a value. So once you write down a list of your expenses for each month, or something that you're saving up toward for another month,
Mhm.
you're now able to allocate a certain amount. So you put a figure next to each expense item.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then you can now go ahead and, fill out your envelopes, label them based on each expense you have, and start putting money in that. So that's a good way to start off. So you have a zero-based budget,
Mhm.
which is, where every single dollar that you have is going. So whether that's tithes, that's allocated for saving, that's allocated for emergency fund, that's allocated for
Mhm.
gas, grocery, utilities, children's expenses, everything is allocated for. So it doesn't mean that you have $0. It
Right.
just means that you know where everything is going. So nothing comes about as a surprise to you at any period during the month.
Right.
And if something comes about as a surprise, that's why you have your emergency fund, right?
Right.
So everything is fully allocated for. Another thing you can do is use a line item budget, which is just listing your income first and then listing all of your expenses under that
Mhm.
to see if you are over or above that number.
Mhm.
Now, when I do that exercise with people, they tend to find that they are spending more money than they actually have coming in.
Yeah.
So there's not a balance there.
Yeah.
And then when I go ahead and say, okay, so where are you getting this extra money from? Oh, I have a credit card.
Oh, dun dun dun.
Now you're not accounting for that in your
Right.
expense because you didn't tell me that.
Right.
So now we need to work on this. And so then that's when everything comes out, talking about that,
Mhm.
that this is what you owe, this is what you are able to pay, you are
Mhm.
able to make the minimum monthly payments. And that is why you don't have enough at the end of the month
Mhm.
because you have other things to take care of. And then you put that credit card aside, you say, well, whatever, when I get to it, I get to it. But it's laying it out, organizing everything is what kind of helps with that.
Right.
So you have different kind of budgeting, like I said, zero-based, line item, cash envelope. LaShonda also mentioned paying yourself first.
Yeah.
So knowing what's important, what do you want for you
Mhm.
before you take care of your other expenses? How much do you want to tithe? How much do you want to save? How much do you want to invest? How much do you want to put aside for vacation?
Mhm.
All of that comes out first, and then you go ahead and allocate towards your bills. And
So
so,
I notice
Mhm.
most women don't do that though. You have
No.
some women who just sacrifice and get, I'm not doing anything for me. I'm just gonna
Right.
have the tithes, or some people don't even tithe. So I'm just gonna do my bills and whatever little $5, $20 I have left. That's me. What do you do with that?
Right. So put that in saving if you're trying to figure out what to do with it.
And here's my other question. This for three of you, and this isn't my final question because I have a question before we go. But what happens in situations where, in most cases, people are paid, directly from the bank, and then we have like these envelopes, and pocket funds that you do at home. Do you take the funds out and just put them in each envelope, or is it something that you use the side hustle money to put the monies in the envelope? What is the best way to save where you're taking the funds out and putting it in the envelopes? What's the
Okay,
best
for
way?
me, what I do is my side hustle monies that is basically for savings.
Mm-hmm.
For example, back when I had loans and credit cards, the side hustle money went strictly to paying that down. Now that I don't have them anymore, the side hustle money automatically goes into savings. And so what happens is from my salary every month, I calculate my expenses as it relates to, of course, okay, I'll give example. My grocery will be $300. Laundry will be $100. Gas will be 150, and that is how I separate my monies based on cable will be $85, and I separate those in different envelopes. I believe in ASUs, so ASU is something that automatically comes out. I transfer my ASU. Of course, I have to pay my rent. Of course, I have to pay BPL. These are things that expenses that you have every month. They don't change. You know, every month you have to buy grocery, every month you have to pay BPL, every month you have to laundry, all of these expenses. So what I do is I separate it by percentage. Okay, if I have, after I already pay my bills, if I have, let's say, $1,000 left over, out of that $1,000, how much goes to grocery, how much goes to the light bill, how much goes to whatever other expenses that I have, and then I budget those funds over a period of the month. So say for example, and again, I like to outsource stuff. For example, the laundry. So if I wash, say for example, every 2 weeks, when I go to the laundry, I will, of course, pay to have my clothes washed. And to save time for me, because I have my side
Of
hustle,
course.
I usually pay the ladies at the wash house to fold my clothes.
Yeah.
So when I go back to pick it up, all I do is my daughter, now that's her chore.
Right.
She puts the clothes up. And of course, I wear uniform, so I pay to have the uniform iron. And not only does that clear me up, um, as it relates to my time, it gives me more time when I go home now to do other
Something
stuff
else.
as it relates to my business, because I paid a little $20 to have that done. As it relates to the food store, like I say, we meal plan, we meal prep. So I go to the store at least, like I say, if I do it every Thursday or every other Thursday, I sit down once I go to the store and I plan what meals I will make for that week. And so say, for example, I meal plan tomorrow, I meal plan for 3 days. And in meal planning for 3 days, I know what's left over because I carry lunch to school. I mean, to work. My daughter carry lunch to school. So you save, because lunch nowadays is what adults
10.
like $10
$10.
and up. So
Yeah.
if you have to buy lunch
Every day.
every day of the week, that's a lot of money that you're wasting. And
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't realize, and I always say, the persons who talk about they want to cut back, I said, for a week, just sit down and every time you spend money, you write it out. And when you write it out and you take a look at it, you realize
How
I
much money you
wasting
spend.
money.
Wow.
You know, that little soda you buy and that little snicker you buy and
Every dollar
that little
counts.
breakfast you buy it, you know, that lunch you buy and you go and you put an extra minutes on your phone because you use up all your data. All of those things are ways that you're wasting money. And once you have that reality that hits you because you're seeing it in black and white, then you know what adjustments you need to make sure that your salary able to keep you until the next month.
I like that. I like that. That is definitely something that we all need to practice if we're not doing that already. But Lakeisha, real quick, and of course, Lashawn, I'm gonna ask you a question as well. So, should you take? What if you don't have a side hustle, right? Should you? How should you take the funds out of the bank to put in the envelopes?
So something I'm big on is having multiple bank accounts. Sometimes when persons physically see the money, they said, "Okay, I have this right here. Let me spend this on something right,
Right.
quick. I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it back," and you
Mhm.
never put it back.
Mhm.
And you forget, or you probably don't even have it to put it back at that time.
Mhm.
So open up a bank account that, aside from where your salary comes in,
Mhm.
you have a something for saving, something for emergency fund, and maybe something for other expenses,
Mhm.
or main bills that you want to pull directly from that account. So that's what I recommend a person. So you just do a bank transfer and you never have to see the cash.
But can we? I mean, you're the expert, right? I'm just here, as a customer. Don't you think that when you're opening up a bank account at another bank, depending on the bank, of course,
Right.
you are putting yourself in more expenses because of the various fees that they
Not really.
no.
So okay, it depends on how much you use your accounts. So if you're opening up accounts specifically to leave the money there until
Right.
you need it, then the most you probably incurring is $6. Depend on your
Okay.
bank.
Okay.
So on average, maybe not more than $10 would be my bank charges.
Okay.
Because one is for saving, one is for emergency fund, one is where my salary comes. But I'm not consistently using that throughout the whole month. Now, when you get paid, if you want to reduce the amount of times you swipe your card, for example,
Mhm.
you just take out what you need for the month and you put in the envelope
Yeah.
like you were
I
saying.
get that.
So that's what I started off doing about 10 years ago. And that was fine. So I had all of the money right in my wallet. So I would take out $200 for gas one time because I knew that's what
How much
I
you
would
need for the
spend for
month?
gas for the whole month.
Mm-hmm.
And then tithes, saving, miscellaneous.
Right.
Everything was in my wallet for the entire month. So I had no need to go back to my bank account for anything.
Mhm.
And I'm not an online person. So the only time I go online is when I pay for my ticket to go on vacation.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
my is gonna move
so
it.
my bank account, my
Wow.
information isn't even
I
online for
Right.
people to
I need that anointing to
use.
come this way.
This way. This
So
way.
Yes.
you have to be disciplined with it and also
Mhm.
keep your banking information safe at the same time.
Right.
Because that's putting yourself in jeopardy.
Absolutely.
The more accounts you have.
For
Absolutely.
me, payday, I have to move everything.
Oh
I
yeah.
have to move, and my savings, I take that straight to the credit union. I have to move
I
everything
was gonna ask about the
because
credit union.
Amazon is called my name,
It does?
and it
Hold
does.
on, hold on.
So
Listen,
you gotta
listen
have
to me.
discipline. You gotta be
Listen.
disciplined. How you
So
talk
for,
about
that is my
budgeting?
discipline. I
Right.
take everything off.
Right.
I take everything when I get paid. I go to the bank. I take everything off. I separate what I need to separate for my
Mhm.
envelopes. I take the remaining to the because I'm not going to go to the credit union to get the money. Other
Right.
side,
Right.
other mind for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other side, other mind. But if I know some money on my account and I look in at, so I take everything off.
I like to see my money grow, so that's why I don't
So
like to move.
I let
Have
the see
your
it go in the credit union.
Yeah.
I go to the credit union and
Right.
see it at the end of every month.
Shonda, what are your thoughts on that?
I loved the suggestions. One thing that my husband and I do on our monthly financial meeting and even our quarterly checkups is we go through each other's bank statement and we highlight wastage. And we're like, okay, well, you spent blah 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 on all this. Now you owe us, and now I owe us. So it's gotta like increase. So we don't want to owe us.
Right.
So we have to increase that accountability by like our individual accounts that we just have for whatever. It's like, okay, like what? No, why were you? He's like, why were you there? Why did you buy that? What? No reason. Okay, you need to owe this back. Like, so we create that kind of partnership, but also accountability with one another doing that. But I think it's important, single or married, to be reflective. How much
Yes.
money did I mishandle this month? And what am I going to do in order to not do the same thing? Excuse me, last month. What am I going to do this month to not repeat the same mistakes? And one of the things that I think is important to do, especially if you're a Christian, is bring your money mindset in alignment with the Word of God.
Yes.
The Word of God tells us that a negligent hand makes you poor, but a
Mhm.
diligent hand makes you rich. That's what I
Mhm.
keep that scripture like in my budget binders. It's like the first thing I open it and I see it there. I have it everywhere in my faith. The Bible tells us that to leave an inheritance for our children. The Bible gives us, and this is why we see people of the world prospering. They come into alignment, whether they believe in God or not.
Yes.
They come into alignment with biblical principles. They are givers. They know how to save. They know how to set aside. The Ecclesiastes says have 7 streams of income. You will hear every rich person telling you like
Same
they
thing.
invented that phrase to have 7 streams of income. Bring your mindset into alignment with the Word of God.
Yes.
You need to start making money, wealth, prosperity, stability about God. It's not about you, about the flex. It's not even about, oh, I grew up poor and I don't want my kids to be poor. Your why needs to become because God needs you to be wealthy to advance the kingdom. God needs you to be wealthy to break the back of generational curses.
That's
God
it.
needs wealth on your life for a reason and a purpose. Wealth in your life as a kingdom assignment. You can't even give good enough if you're not budgeting properly.
Come on.
When you take your bricks and give them away to someone else to build a house who is already a squanderer, the two of you end up homeless. Keep
Come
your
on.
bricks, build your house, and have somewhere to invite people in for shelter. We have to have a biblical mindset about money, especially as believers, especially as
Financial.
women,
Yeah.
especially if you plan to pursue marriage. You need to have a biblical mind because the Bible tells us, Proverbs 31, remember, that lady doing good to her husband all the
Yes,
days.
she
He
is.
trusts her. She consider her feelings. She buying that thing.
Yes, she is.
So even in your singleness, whether as a mom or you help take care of nieces and nephews, how are you preparing yourself to consider a field to buy it? How are you preparing yourself to do good to your husband all his days? How are you preparing yourself to be trusted? If you're someone that's interested in marriage, if you're someone that's interested in motherhood, right? Like we have to begin to think about stuff in with a higher mindset. It's not just about I want to be able to go on a vacation. And yes,
Come
I
on.
do. I need LaShonda personally absolutely needs 2 vacations every year. I need to
Mhm.
go away with my friends. My friends and I went to Iceland in January. I started a budget envelope for that 18 months before. We already have
Wow.
our next trip planned. I've already started my budget envelope for that trip because it's not going to compromise my family, but it's going to give me what I need.
Come
The
on.
flight class I need, the hotel room that I need. When my husband and I need to go on vacation, we know even though the godparents are going to be here with our kids, we want to leave them having access to
Comfortable.
$3,000, $1,500, whatever, in case there's emergency with our children. In case
Yes.
there's something they need to be able to take money, and it can't be a burden to them. Like we don't. You're already taking time off work to watch our children. We don't want that to be a burden, and so you have to bring yourself into alignment with the a higher level of thinking about the purposes of money.
Yes.
You cannot you broke down, you need healing, but you can't afford therapy. And it's not because you don't have the money, but it's because you may squander. It's
Yes.
because you don't see the ways in which you squander money. And this is not for guilt or condemnation. It's literally so that you can shake yourself and shift.
I
Right?
love that.
Shake yourself and shift. You need therapy? Where in your budget? What can you cut to get therapy? You need an emergency fund? How can you begin to radically pursue that? Like thinking about what you need to have is going to pull a lot of people up out of shame, up out of self-consciousness. Girl, you have a talent to sing. You need to start singing at people's wedding. So
Come
you can
on.
have an extra $300 coming in every 2 weeks or whatever may have you. You have a talent for writing, or you have a talent for proofreading. You need to start proofreading people college essays for $20 an essay. You have time at home. You could be washing people laundry and folding it and then let them come pick it up from your house because they don't want to do it or they need to have their time for something else. Like we have to start to think about it. You have hands for growing. Start selling the plants out your yard
Come
once
on.
they reach a level of maturity. We don't have to necessarily jump into, oh, I don't know how to be a social media influencer, or I don't know how to make wigs, or I don't know how to do I don't know how to do makeup. I have a friend that makes $200,000 a year putting on eyelashes on people's face.
Come on.
Okay? Eyelashes on people's faces. I don't even understand. And I love the life for her because it frees up her time. But we have to have a
Yes.
higher
Yeah.
level of consciousness. If you want to be a bigger giver, you got to have more money to give. How
Come
you want to
on.
get
Yep.
more money? If you want to do more for the kingdom, oh, I wish I had it, so I gotta give it. Oh, every time someone, I wish I had it. Stop wishing you had it and come into
And come.
alignment.
Come
Yes.
on.
Come
Yes.
into alignment. God wants to use your hand. We share the gospel, but people can't hear the gospel past their hungry belly. They can't hear the gospel past their lights off. They can't hear the gospel past their water in, running, their car in, working. They can't even get to church. You inviting them, they can't even get there. They can't hear the gospel past that. You are God's hands and his feet
Yes.
in the earth. And
In the
it
earth.
requires money. The Bible tells us money answereth all things for a reason. And so you having stability, you having means is a kingdom thing. It's bigger than vacations. It is a kingdom thing. It's bigger than a purse. And I like a purse. I love a purse. But
Shonda,
this is so much
listen
bigger
to
than that.
me. You are just rolling, and I really, really wish we had more time because from three of you, because y'all are just phenomenal women. And apart, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut the show because we still have another guest that's coming in this evening, and we want to make sure that she gets her information out as well. But Lashonda, you actually answered my final question, talking about being able to encourage mothers who are just starting to take control of their family's finances, and you just took the ball out the park right there. And so I thank you for that. So ladies, you're gonna have literally like 30 seconds each just to share something real quick to a mother who's listening. How can they, I can use you for last, Garnett, how can mothers save? How can they be prudent? What the final gestures you can give them? Yes, they've been squandering before, but they want to get it right because they heard from the Shonda, they heard from Garnett, they heard from the Keisha. What can they do? 30
I
seconds.
would say to you, the mother that's listening, just be encouraged. It's trial and error. Today you might start a budget and you will find that you might slip up, you might spend the money that you shouldn't, but just be encouraged. Do not condemn yourself because it takes time. And for me, I feel like Ecclesiastes and Proverbs have good biblical financial
Yes.
rules
Yes.
in them. So read your Bible, and sometimes we just scroll over the Bible, but read the Bible and ask the Holy Spirit to reveal it to you. Ask the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit to, give you the principles so that you can use it to become financially independent. I am a single mama too because I'm actually divorced. And for me, I know what it was I felt it before when I didn't have enough.
Right.
And now my kids, my daughter will be 15 this year, my son will be 20 this year. And the way we are right now financially is a breeze.
Thank you, Lord.
But I
Hallelujah.
had those days when it was really hard. So just keep trying, trial and error, because all of us could give you as much advice as we want to give you, but it is isolated to you. Your financial freedom is isolated to you and your family. And what might work for me might not necessarily work for you.
Mhm.
So talk to the Holy Spirit and ask Him to reveal it to you. Say, Spirit, reveal to me my steps. And then those steps that He give you, allow God to order your steps. And trust me, in a year time and maybe less than a year, you will be financially free. And always remember to help those who are less than you. You might
Absolutely.
say, oh, I only have $2. Trust me, 50 cents out of that same person on the side of the street, give them a bottle of water. That parking boy, give him an extra dollar, and you will see the goodness of God
Blessings.
manifest in your life daily. Closed hands can be blessed by
No.
God. That is something that I know personally. Always give, and as you give, it will be coming back to you multiplied.
Amen. Lakeisha?
Yeah, so similar to what Gunnar said, Mark 4, I believe it tells us that generosity begets generosity.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no secret to wealth. It's just a kingdom principle.
Yes.
And so don't be afraid to give, to tithe. I know some people feel a certain way about that,
Mm-hmm.
but you're serving God. You have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Only He can supply, only He can produce you what it is
Mm-hmm.
that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, use wisdom. So I just want to leave everybody with the quote. This is a quote from me. In order to change your financial future, you have to control your financial now.
Ooh.
So evaluate your financial decisions and see how that affects your financial tomorrow.
Yeah, I have y'all to know y'all coming back for part 2 because I still have a bunch of questions here that we have not covered as yet, and we were having technical different difficulties. It's not our fault. So a part 2 needs to be taken place. Thank you very much. Lashonda, real quick, can you just give those who are listening your social media handles, please? Because you on fire. And maybe
I
you
am
could
Shonda
do
Angelou on socials. Well, on Instagram, my name is Lashonda Jean Jacques, and I'm on Facebook as Lashonda Jean Jacques, but on Instagram and I think TikTok, I'm Shonda Angelou. I love to put money in my cash envelopes. I find it very exciting. So I share that on my social media. But my closing words would be saving is a muscle. You got to use it, even if it's only $2. And the second tip is get some people. Like everybody, you don't have to do it alone. Get some people, you and all your friends, start a $5 savings challenge for the year. That's all you got to do. $5 every week or every paycheck. Pull out $5. Savings is muscle. Even if you're only saving $5, $10, that matters and that counts. It doesn't. You don't allow yourself to be fooled into thinking that a small number isn't making a big difference. It's making a big difference in your mindset and your habits, and it's building a muscle that you did not have before. So allow yourself to build the muscle and get yourself some people.
thank
Okay?
you.
Get your
Thank you,
neighbors and
Shonda.
all y'all do the challenge.
Thank you so much. That's so powerful. Can I get your social media handles as well?
On Facebook, Garnet Mills, and on TikTok is Tidbits of Garnet.
And Lakeisha?
Facebook and Instagram, the Financial Academy, or you can also find me at Lakeisha Roll on Facebook.
Thank you so much, ladies. I
Thank
mean, I
you.
feel so
Okay.
bad. I really have 15 minutes left that I have to allocate to my next guest. Y'all want to hear what's going on here. And if you're tuning in, you're going to have an opportunity to win 2 tickets for this event. I'm excited about it. We have Miss Shamika Strawn in studio. Ladies, thank you so much. DZ, can we go on a quick break real quick so that we can transition? Yes, we're going to transition in a
Okay,
minute.
we can move now. Okay.
All right. So thank
All
you so
right,
much,
no
ladies, for
problem.
coming. God bless you. Thank you, Lashonda.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Good job. Before y'all go, can y'all wait? Okay, good.
What can make you happy and angry at the same time? The Angry Whopper and new
Huh?
Angry Chicken
Yeah, let's take a break.
Sandwich.
Let's take it before so they can go.
It's time to get angry and take on the flavor sensation of BK's signature plain turkey, spicy jalapenos, bacon, classic onion rings, cheese, fresh veggies, and all the flavors you love. Or try the new Angry Chicken with the same delicious spicy ingredients on a crispy chicken breast patty. Take your taste buds to the next level with the Angry Whopper and Angry Chicken today, only at Burger King Nassau. Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for
Do what? I can give it to you. No, I'll crop it. I'll crop it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank
The
you too.
pleasure.
Part two, please, because we didn't finish everything.
Say drive
And
safe.
too much things was happening. We couldn't hear nothing. D'Angelo, say dry. Say, oh, you ready to start that in?
Angela, want to make sure you reach home safe.
Thank you. Blessings. Yes, please. Part two needs to be.
See you later, honey.
We need a part two immediately because all these different things what's happening. Hello, lovely. How are you? Good. We started off late. That's fine. No problem. That's small things. I just want to make sure we get in because remember, y'all was dropping the ball today.
Here's to the go-getters, the early
That's
risers,
no problem.
and the late-night dreamers. You, the visionaries, painting futures in your mind, in your studio.
All right, when you're ready, we can get back. Come back on,
Here's to
and you
the
can actually use the flyer as well.
everywhere.
The mommy and me flyer. You could put that on there while I read.
Okay. Life is the perfect connection for everyone, every lifestyle, every day.
Visit BeAlive.com today.
Yeah. Welcome back. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in and staying with us. We had so much to cover today with finances, but we cannot leave the show without talking about the Shamika and Amorphia presents Mommy I Love You, a health and beauty expo. We have with us in studio the founder of this particular event, Miss Shamika Strawn, Mrs. Shamika Strawn, Dr. Shamika Strawn. I didn't even know which one to call you today. Dr. Shamika, Mrs. Shamika, which one? It don't matter.
Shamika,
Shamika, just
Shamika.
Shamika.
Shamika is fine.
You need no
It's
titles.
fine. No,
But
no,
thank
no,
you
not at
so
all.
much for coming in. And can you talk to us today about what's happening next Sunday?
Yes, so next Sunday we'll be having Mommy, I Love You. First time ever. I'm so excited. It's a day for moms and their daughters to come and unwind. In a day of self-care, beautification, and to be educated on all things feminine. It's going to be a packed day, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
So let's talk about what people should be expecting going to this event. Who should be coming? What is happening, etc.
Moms and daughters of all ages. It doesn't really have to be a mom or daughter. It could be auntie and her niece. It could be anybody, but all ages. I would say from 3 and up. There will be a princessification experience for the little girls. They get to dress in princess dresses and have their makeup done, photos taken. The adults, they can come get their hair, makeup, nails, facials, massages, the whole works, anything you can think of. There are also going to be some of the top care healthcare providers there as well. You have people like Oak Tree Medical, Healthy Kids. We're going to have presentation on relationship coaching by Ms. Trish herself, relationship coaching, women's mental health, dentistry. There's just so many. I wrote everything down, but I can't remember. But it's going to be a lot that is going on. 360 photo booth, photos, caricature drawings, food, because Bohemians like food.
Of course,
I gotta mention the food. They're gonna be heavy hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and giveaways. The door prizes up to $1,000 in door prizes, swag bags for every attendee. So we working, and like I said, it's a first time event, but we want to make it one to remember. Because by God's grace, I know it's gonna be annual. So we gotta go off with all. But
so can you name some of the vendors? Because you're talking about facial, you talk about nails. Who are some of these people who will be?
Yes, ma'am, indeed. So I'm partnering with Amorphia. Amorphia is a healthcare and beauty product business on Mackey Street on top of the hill. If you go there, you will see Amorphia. It's beautiful. So Amorphia, there's going to be Sandbox, Greenhouse, greenhouse with the floral arrangement, Sandbox, the little girl dresses. As far as beautification, there's Hair by Mika. Serenity Mobile Spa. Lord, I don't want to forget nobody. Who else is going to be there? Facials by Amorphia again, makeup by Amorphia, painted by Risha. She'll be doing the makeup. And who else? I don't want to forget anybody. I can get right when I come off. I have my list. I
Do
have
your
my
list.
list. Let me
It's
get
okay.
it.
It's okay. Get your list.
Okay, prenatal pampering. Miss Bernica Smith, she's
Yes.
gonna be there to talk about prenatal care.
Yes.
Women's hygiene. We have Miss Meredith Johnson Evans. And who else? Makeup. Like I said, women's mental health. Dr. Indira Bain will be talking to us about women's mental health and menopause. By Miss Patrice Lockhart. She's a specialist in the area of menopause.
Mhm.
So pretty much it's gonna be a day that's walking women through the life of womanhood from childbirth straight up to menopause.
I love that.
Anything you
I
can
love
think
that.
of. You
I
can
love
come
that.
and find out more information, ask questions. There'll be a question and answer period. So it's going to be great.
So what are the ticket prices looking like for someone?
Okay.
Because we just finished talking about budgeting.
Yes,
So how
yes,
do we get
ma'am. Yes,
yes.
ma'am. Okay, so there are three ticket options.
Right.
We have a VIP ticket option, and that one includes any one of the 7 services that I
Mhm.
referenced.
Mhm.
Of course, the swag bags, the giveaways, the food, the drinks, the entertainment, the
Mhm.
education. I don't
Mhm.
think people put value on information.
Yes.
So I want to, stress that as well.
Yes.
There's a general ticket that does not include a service, but of course, it includes all the other activities and
Mhm.
experiences that will be happening, including the free stuff.
Mhm.
And we have a child ticket as well. And like I said, for the children, there will be the princessification experience. They could get their hair or their name or their makeup done as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep.
Is there a dress code?
Dress code, I would say smart casual.
Yeah.
Nice dress pants, nice, colorful, bright shirt. It's gonna be a bubbly, fun experience.
Yeah.
So, come dressed for the occasion.
Right. So
Definitely.
what is your vision for that day? You.
M- my vision, um, when I got the idea for this, it was to bring women together
Mhm.
for a day when we can take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
Because oftentimes we're rushing and we're going and we're taking care of everybody else and we forget ourselves.
Yes.
And I came to a point where I was just so tired
Mhm.
and overwhelmed. And God, when I got the idea, it's funny how I think you gave me the analogy of, it's like when you have a GPS and it's like
Yes.
turn left, turn right, turn
Yes.
left, turn right. When God give you an idea on instruction and you're turning and then He's quiet for a
Yes.
while, and then it's like you're almost there and He started giving you the directions
Yes.
again. So that's where I'm at, and I know that I am walking in obedience to God. So I definitely know that whatever His purpose is for this event, it will be established.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
So
love that.
I'm excited for that. I know, but I find that leading up to the event, He's revealing more to me.
I love that.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the women that will be there because
I'm
it will be
excited too.
beneficial
I'm
for them
excited.
all. Yep.
Now we're trying to get 2 tickets out here today. Now, how are we gonna do that? You have any ideas how we're gonna do that tonight?
I
You want
don't
to go with
know.
the third person? You want to go with someone?
We live, like people could message
You
or
could. They
call
can.
in
We're
or
live. They
how.
could call in. I don't know. DC know how to, DC don't know how to do the call-ins yet. Jesus, somebody need to. It ain't you. DC said it ain't him. But the phone lines are working. But I just don't know what happened.
But y'all tell me, I would say that the first person to message or call and say, I guess, 2 of the services,
Well,
that's
you
going to
want to
be
use your number or you want to use this number to message?
use your number. That's
Okay.
fine.
So the number to message is 376-8689 because we're actually wrapping up. So of course I'll give that information to you.
Okay.
376-8689 is the number to text. And we're gonna go with the third person that texts.
Yes.
And what do you want them to say?
I want them to let us know what are 2 of the services that they can receive
I love
at
that.
Mommy I Love You.
What are 2 services that you can receive at the Mommy I Love You Health and Beauty Expo? And the 2 tickets will be yours. All right. So the number again is 376-8689, 376-8689. And you be the third person to text and you say what are 2 of the services that will be held on next Sunday's event. Now, what are the times? Because we didn't say that.
Oh, the event goes from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
And where is it again?
It's at the Balmoral next week, Sunday, May 26th.
Okay. Can you say specifically where the Balmoral is? Any
Oh,
point of reference?
Stafford Drive.
Yes.
Is
Stafford
that a good?
Drive.
Is that Stanford?
Stanford Drive.
Stanford
Okay.
Drive.
So when and how can people obtain the tickets?
Oh, you can go on to islanddreammanagement.com/mommy I love you.
Okay. Say that one more time.
islanddreamsmanagement.com/mommy I love you.
Okay. So that's your chance because we're leaving out now. So we're going to just message the person back to let them know that, hey, you are the third person to text. the tickets will be yours. I'm excited about this event.
I am too.
So what are you said that, hey, you get the relationship coaching or relationship talk about mother-daughter conflicts, etc. What are the other topics that will be covered for that date?
Other topics, like I said, women's mental health, taking care of
Mental
your
health,
health.
right?
We're also going to be talking about, I forgot to say, pre-need. That's
Okay.
the area that we don't talk about a lot. I actually have my cousin who's flying in to dip that topic. It's
Right.
about preparing for illnesses and preparing
Okay.
for death. And you just had people on talking about budgeting and finances,
Yes.
and that's the area we don't like to focus
Right.
on. But again, we don't like to prepare for death, right? Sad as it is, I don't want to dumb down what we're talking about now, but
Mm-hmm.
there'll be somebody there speaking about that
About that.
area
Mm-hmm.
as well. Me, I'll be talking about teeth, because that's what I do all day
Right.
every day.
Right. That's important.
That's important.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be packed, it's gonna be
I
full.
love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited. I am so excited. Memories by Shamika and Amorphia presents Mommy, I Love You, a health and beauty expo that is taking place this coming Sunday. We were talking up until that event. You have a couple more days to purchase the tickets. Go ahead and purchase it. Get the ticket for mommy, get a ticket for auntie, get someone, whoever is a mentor in your life. You can bless them. You all two can go together. Get like she said, there'll be princess outfits and dress up days, and I'll be bringing my girls. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna make sure that they are there because they like the little dress up things. So I'm gonna make sure that they do that. All right, to this event, and I'm excited. And any closing or parting words before we go?
Just come on out and see what this event is all about. It's going to be one that you will definitely remember. And like I said, memories by Shamika will capture the memories for you, so you can hold on to them for a lifetime. And we hope to see you this year and the years to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shamika. Your Lane, episode 97, Mommying on a Budget, was brought to you by The Perfume Bar, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Nor Rice and Pesticides, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard, O. Henry Candy, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard, Libby's Vienna Sausages, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard, and Memories by Shamika and Omorphia presents Mommy, I Love You, a health and beauty expo. Now, before we close the show, we will have just letting you know that we're gonna have for next week Sunday. Next week's show, we have two college. The next week's show is entitled "Greek Life Unveiled: The Spiritual Risks of Pledging" Part 2. Our guests are Alexis Rhodes and Kayla Hamlet, who will be sharing their encounters with pledging in college and the journey to their deliverance. Now, this show is so important because, well, this is part 2. The first one we had another guest, and but they are actually, this is fresh out the market, fresh, like about 2 years or so. That according to them, Holy Spirit tell them, hey, get out of it, denounce it, renounce it, get out, come into the fold. What you were doing was not of God. So we're going to hear a little bit about that next week. Both of them are excited. They're excited to share their journey and where they are now. And of course, we're going to be as thorough as possible. That type of show, that's the type of show we are. We're going to make sure we won't go from start to finish, and we want to take our time. All right. So we're going to ensure that the producers are on time and doing what they're supposed to do, ensuring that our cameras are fixed, our mics are fixed, right? By God's will, all of those things will be set and ready for you for next week. And so I want to thank you to my former guests, Garnett. Thank you, Lakeisha. Thank you, LaShonda, for being a part of the show today. We are going to do a part 2 for you all so we can get you fully covered and get all the information that we need to ensure that we are prudent with our spending. And thank you to our first time listening audience. I hope that you were all educated, empowered, and encouraged today. And thank you to Odessa and DZ for holding it down as you always do, and to our continued Your Lane listening audience. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And until then, you have a blessed Sunday. God bless you. Until next week, we will meet again.